There is a wound on the face of the sun right now. NOAA confirmed it. Scientists are measuring it, and they are calling it a coronal hole, a dark, open gash roughly 50 times the size of Earth, pointed directly at us, pouring charged particles toward our planet at over 600 kilometers per second. That is not a metaphor. That is a documented, measurable, real event happening right now. But here is what NOAA is not saying, what no mainstream source is connecting. Commander ASHTAR SHERAN transmitted a list of 8 physical signs that would precede the 3 days of darkness. Signs that would be measurable, signs that would show up in the world before the passage begins. The first sign on that list is a disruption of the sun's surface, a wound in the solar field that sends a river of charged energy toward Earth in the days before the shift. I want you to understand that, not as poetry, as a direct parallel between ancient transmission and current scientific data. The particles streaming from this hole are not random. They are not simply a space weather event that inconveniences satellite operators. In my understanding, and I want to be clear, this is how I am reading what has been transmitted. This stream is the physical equivalent of a bell being rung. It is the cosmos announcing that a threshold is approaching, and your body has already been trying to tell you this. That ringing in your left ear that started a few days ago, the pressure at the top of your head that feels like something is pushing down from above, the exhaustion that no amount of sleep is fixing, the waking at 3 in the morning with a heart that is racing for no reason you can name, those are not symptoms of illness. Those are your energy field reading what the planet is already registering. The stream is arriving. Your body knew it first. This transmission is about what that means, not just cosmically, practically. Because if this is what I believe it is, one of the measurable forerunners of what ASHTAR described as the approach to the passage, then the question is not whether to be afraid. The question is whether you are prepared. And prepared means something very specific in what follows. The science and the transmission are pointing at the same moment. That convergence does not happen by coincidence. It happens when something real is approaching, and the whole system, physical and cosmic alike, begins to register it at once. Let me tell you what this stream actually does to the human body, because this is the part that connects everything you have been feeling to what is happening above you right now. The particles streaming from the solar hole are interacting with Earth's magnetic field. That field is not separate from you. It runs through you. Every cell in your body operates within a magnetic environment. And when that environment shifts dramatically, which it is doing right now, confirmed by NOAA's own geomagnetic storm watch, your biology responds before your mind has any way of processing it. The ringing in the left ear is one of the 8 signs. ASHTAR was specific about that, not general tinnitus. A high-pitched tone, often sudden, specifically in the left ear, that comes and goes in pulses. The Arcturian Council has confirmed this is real galactic communication, the channel opening in response to increased cosmic frequency. Your left ear is not malfunctioning. It is receiving. But here is what stops most people from acting on what they are receiving. They believe the sensations mean something is wrong with them. They go to the doctor. They get told it is stress, or aging, or anxiety, and they leave with a prescription that quiets the very signal the cosmos is trying to send. I am not saying ignore your health. I am saying that when 8 specific physical symptoms appear at the same time, a solar wound is confirmed and pointed at Earth. The probability that it is coincidence is not one I am willing to accept. The pressure at the crown of the head means the crown energy center is opening. This happens in the months and weeks before a major shift. The channel between the physical body and the higher levels of the soul begins to widen. It feels like pressure, sometimes warmth, sometimes a tingling that moves from the top of the head down through the face. Many of you have been experiencing this for months. You thought it was tension, it was preparation. If you are watching this and you recognize 3 or more of what I have just described, the ear ringing, the crown pressure, the unexplained exhaustion, the 3 in the morning waking, the sense that time is moving strangely, the dreams that feel more real than your waking life, then your soul is already in preparation mode. You did not find this video by accident. The algorithm did not send you here. Something else did. And now I want to tell you about the guide that exists specifically for what you are feeling right now. Because there is a difference between knowing a storm is coming and knowing what to do when it arrives, hour by hour. The 3 Days of Darkness Survival Guide, transmitted through Commander ASHTAR SHERAN and the Arcturian Council, and available right now in the first pinned comment, is that difference. It names every one of the 8 precursor signs, explains exactly what phase of approach each one indicates, and then walks you through the complete preparation protocol that ASHTAR specified. The 9 physical items and their spiritual meaning, the complete sealing ceremony for your home, and the hour-by-hour guide for moving through all 72 hours with stability. If what you have heard in the last few minutes has landed as recognition, not as new information but as confirmation of what your body already knew, that guide was placed there for you. Here is something the science does not explain, but the transmission does. Not all places on Earth will experience what is coming in the same way. This is not about geography in the conventional sense. It is about what the ground beneath certain places was built to hold, and what happens when that ground has been covered over for generations with concrete, electromagnetic interference, and the concentrated fear of millions of people living on top of each other without knowing what they are carrying. Dense urban centers, cities like Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, New York, Miami, are sitting on top of what used to be sacred land. Rivers of energy that the ancient peoples of this continent built their ceremonial sites along, that the indigenous nations recognized as living and powerful, that the earth itself has been trying to keep active for centuries. Those rivers do not disappear when you build a highway over them. They go underground. The pressure builds. And when a wave of cosmic energy arrives, like the one coming now, the field in those cities does not have a clean channel to move through. It compresses, it stagnates, and the people living in those cities feel it as something they cannot name. A heaviness that arrived last Tuesday and has not left, a irritability with no source, a sudden urge to leave, to drive somewhere with trees, with water, with silence. The Syrian Council has been direct about this timing. Their transmission, which I am reading as connected to this specific solar event, stated that the souls who are awake in the high-density zones were placed there deliberately, not because those cities are safe, because those souls are the anchors. Every prepared home in a dense city is a node in a network, a point of stabilized light in the middle of the field that is struggling. And the more souls in those places who hold their frequency during the approach, the less the clearing when it comes will feel like catastrophe for the people around them. But here is what the Syrian Council also said, and what I believe is the most important thing I will say in this entire transmission. The window for preparation is not unlimited. A stream this size, from a hole this wide, does not arrive as a single event. It arrives in waves. The first wave is already being measured. There are more rotations coming. The same hole will pass in front of Earth again in approximately 27 days, and again after that. Each wave increases the energetic pressure. Each wave narrows the preparation window. The time to move from knowing to doing is not theoretical. It is this week. I want to be honest with you about what I think this means. In my understanding, we are inside the outer edge of the approach period. The science and the transmission are in alignment. The hole is real, the stream is real, and the symptoms you have been carrying in your body for the past several weeks are real. What comes next depends entirely on whether the souls who are awake, the ones watching this right now, treat this as the signal it is, or dismiss it as another warning that passed without consequence. The ones who passed through great shifts in the ancient world were not the ones who were strongest or most powerful. They were the ones who prepared, who sealed their homes, who gathered what was needed, who held the light when the light was the rarest thing available. That is your invitation, not out of fear, out of recognition. The cosmic infrastructure is signaling. The ground beneath certain cities is holding its breath. And the gap between that signal and the practical steps that protect your household is exactly what the guide in the first pinned comment was built to close. Let me tell you what preparation actually looks like. Not in abstract spiritual terms, in physical specific this week terms. Because one of the things Commander ASHTAR was clear about, and this surprised me when I first received it, is that the inner preparation and the outer preparation are not separate. They are the same act. What you gather in your home and what you clear in your heart are both part of the same sealing. The 9 physical items Ashtar specified are not arbitrary. Each one carries a frequency purpose alongside its physical function. Salt is placed at every threshold of the home, every doorframe, every windowsill, not as superstition, but as a boundary keeper. Its crystalline structure holds intention in a way that synthetic materials cannot. White candles are lit at the moment the darkness begins, with the names of every person and every animal in the home spoken aloud. A spoken name in darkness is a coordinate of light. It locates a soul within the field of protection. Blessed water, held in glass or ceramic containers, prayed over with clear intention, holds frequency in a way that plastic cannot. Water is a receiver. It stores what you ask it to carry. Frankincense or sage is burned and carried through every room because the atmosphere of a space responds to sacred fragrance. The Pleiadians have been consistent on this. A home cleared with intention and fragrance becomes a different environment, not metaphorically but measurably, in the way the space feels before and after. Food that does not require electricity or cooking. A physical sacred text, not a digital one. Clean white linen. Seeds to plant the morning the light returns. Each item serving both the body and the field simultaneously. But here is the thing that most people miss. The preparation that Ashtar emphasized most was not the gathering of items. It was the preparation of the inner house. The darkness, when it comes, will amplify whatever is unresolved inside you. Not as punishment. As the natural function of what the event does, it removes the noise that has been allowing you to avoid yourself. What is unresolved will surface. And if you have been sitting with grief you have not processed, with fear you have not named, with resentments you have been carrying quietly for years, those things will feel larger in those hours than they have ever felt in daylight. The daily release practice that Ashtar specified, which is meant to begin now, not when the darkness arrives, is simple. Each day before the event, you identify one thing you have been carrying that does not belong to your future. You write it down. You speak it aloud. You say, I release this. It served me while it did. It no longer does. I am lighter now. That is not a ritual for its own sake. That is a clearing of the inner field, so that when the outer field intensifies, you have room to receive rather than collapse. The preparation guide in the first pinned comment contains all of this in complete form. The 9 items with their full spiritual meaning and exact instructions. The complete sealing ceremony from sunrise to the moment the darkness falls. The hour-by-hour protocol for all 72 hours. The first 6 hours, the deepest hours of the second day, and the quieting of the final hours before the morning. If you are someone who does not want more information about what is coming, you want to know what to do when it comes, step by step, so that you are not improvising in the dark. That is what the guide is. Not more awareness. A protocol. The difference between darkness with preparation and darkness without it is not small. It is everything. Now let me tell you what comes after. Because I believe, and I want to say this clearly, that the 3 days of darkness have been described in fear-based terms by too many sources for too long, and the fear gets all the attention. What gets almost no attention is what Ashtar said at the end of his transmission, what he called the most important part. He called it the morning. The morning that follows is not a return to normal. Normal is what the clearing will have dissolved. The invisible weight that has been sitting over human consciousness for centuries, the force that keeps people exhausted without reason, that makes decisions feel impossible, that keeps the fog in place no matter how much you sleep, that weight lifts, substantially, noticeably. The Pleiadians described it this way. Old grief finds natural resolution. The body relaxes in ways it has not relaxed in living memory. People weep, not from sorrow but from relief, as if something that has been pressing on the chest since childhood suddenly releases and the first full breath in decades finally arrives. But that morning is not available to everyone equally. It is available to those who held the light through the passage, those who prepared, those who sealed their homes and spoke their protection declarations, and did not open the windows and did not turn on the television, and did not spiral into panic during the deepest hours of the second day, when old emotions surfaced without warning. those souls will emerge from those 72 hours carrying something different than when they went in. A clarity, a steadiness, a frequency upgrade that took place in the dark without their interference. The Syrian Council said this, and it has stayed with me. Star seeds were placed in every city, every neighborhood, every corner of this planet for this reason, so that no community would be entirely without an anchor of light. You were not placed in your home by accident. You were not placed in your city by accident. The specific coordinates of your life, your address, your neighbors, the people within reach of your field, those are not random. They are a mission, and the mission becomes visible in full only when the darkness comes and you are the one who stayed steady. That is who you are. Not because you are perfect, not because you have no fear, but because you found this transmission, because something in you recognized the signal when the solar data and the ancient prophecy and the physical symptoms of your own body all pointed at the same moment. Recognition is not the same as accident. Recognition is the soul saying, yes. This is what I came for. The complete preparation guide, the 3 Days of Darkness survival guide, transmitted through Commander ASHTAR SHERAN and the Arcturian Council, is in the first pinned comment. It is the step-by-step protocol for your home, your household, your family members who are afraid, and your own inner house. The window to gather, to clear, to seal, to prepare is open now. The stream from the solar wound is already arriving. Every day between now and the passage is a day of preparation. Use it. The morning is real, and you were built to reach it. If you are waking at 3 in the morning tonight, leave your name and your city in the comments below. I read everyone. And share this with someone who has been feeling what you have been feeling but has no language yet for what it is. They may not have another source for this. What you pass on tonight may be exactly what holds someone steady when the hours get dark.